Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the words of the RAMBAM, Hilchos Talmud Torah, the study of Torah, and we left off in Halacha Zayin, which is number 8, where the RAMBAM gives over his famous understanding of the Halacha, that it is really, in a great way, also it is prohibited for a person to make a livelihood and a living through the teaching of the Torah itself. Now, the underlying reason of the RAMBAM is because he holds that if a person makes his business the Torah, so that would be a great chilul Hashem, a desecration of Hashem's name. Why? Because the Rambam seems to hold that when you use the Torah to make your parnasa, to make your livelihood, to provide you with your sustenance, you're turning Torah into any other job that's out there in the world. It's no different than being a lawyer, a doctor, a plumber, electrician, a waiter, a waitress. It's no different than any of that. And therefore, says the Rambam, Torah is different. Torah is lofty. Torah is incredible. It is the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holies of the Rabbi Shalom, and it deserves to stay in that realm. And therefore, a person should not seek work and business and livelihood through the teaching of the Torah that he does. And that seems to be clear in the Rambam that we learned over here, and it seems to be clear from the Rambam elsewhere where he writes such words. Now, all of that being said, if you look around the world today, obviously we see yeshivas, and we see schools, and we see shuls, and we see classes taking place, and we are well aware of the fact that basically every single Rebbe in a yeshiva, whether it's elementary school or junior high school or post-high school learning, they're all getting paid for their job for teaching. And when you go to a shul and you see the Rav at the helm and he's leading the congregation and he's also teaching them classes, he's getting paid for his job as the Rav. And teachers and so on and so forth who are teaching Torah to their students, they're getting paid for their job. So what is the pshat? How are they able to do such a thing? And this leads us to a machlekes, to an argument between the Rambam and other of the great Rishonim, the great halachic authorities from earlier generations, where they hold that it is quite possible, based on the Gemara, that if the teacher has no other source of income, and this is the way that he's going to make a living, otherwise he's going to have to busy himself with some other kind of parnasa, and he will not be able to learn, and he will not be able to teach in the amount of time that he's doing right now as the Rebbe of the class, as the Rav of the shul, as the teacher. So then there is a permissibility, because it's not considered to be a desecration of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name in such a case. On the other hand, you're being Mekadosh Shem Shemayim, because you're occupying your time and your energies and your efforts with learning and teaching the next generation of Klal Yisrael, the future Talmidei Chachamim, the future fathers, the future Rabbanim, the future Rebbeim, and giving them the strength and the koyach that they need to be able to live a life of Torah and of mitzvahs in the highest possible way. So although it seems to be that the Rambam does not agree with that opinion, that is a prevailing opinion in the Rishonim, maybe perhaps most noted as the Ram, who is one of the great commentaries on the Gemara, and therefore, as a result of that, the prevailing minhag and the custom in the world today is that anyone that is teaching, anyone that is leading a congregation, anyone that is involved in the learning and the teaching of the Torah is permitted to take a salary from such a job, is permitted to be paid for the classes that they give, because in that way they can continue to learn and to teach and to be Mekadosh Shem Shemayim in the most magnificent and special of ways. That's the end of that halacha, and in Yetz Hashem tomorrow we'll continue further. Have a wonderful day.